right, so we're live right now in the Inspiring Wellness group.
Your big old finger.
There we go. I just wanted to tag a few folks. Hang on a second as we adjust some lighting.
Drop it down a little bit.
There, that's a little bit better.
Okay.
All
Got
right.
a lot of white behind us right there.
Yeah. Well, good evening, everybody. I have a special guest here, my husband, Cole Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of wait just a second. I just want to make sure that this live is working before we get going. And then off we go to talk about essential oils. If you're joining me, say hi, so I know you're there. And tonight we're talking about essential oils for guys. And I wasn't really sure which direction I wanted to go tonight because I feel like we could go men's health, we could go emotions, and I decided to just have a discussion. I've got my husband here, and he's got a couple of ideas and some things that he shared with me about what is important to guys, and I just want to say hello, Lynette. Thanks for joining us. And of course, I'm going to be posting this I'll be sharing the link with you guys later if you want to share this with the guys out there. We're going to be fairly compliant tonight, so this video probably could go public later. So tonight we're going to cover topics that I wrote down that I kind of thought would be good for guys in general. And actually, if you have questions, just let me know. I can see the comments just a little bit, the thing's a little bit further away than normal. But I can kind of see them. Okay, so we're going to talk about kind of things that are important to people in general, but we're going to tweak some of my suggestions for things that guys would be more interested in. Because normally for us girls, we kind of grab for what's easy, and I have kind of noticed that doesn't really excite the guys. So when I tell you, like, whenever you have an issue and I'm like, use such and such oil, like, you're not really that excited. But whenever I throw an oil at him that I think, like, you might like that's a little bit more woodsy, you get pretty excited about that. And what's interesting is that some of those oils contain some of the same constituents as some of our favorites as women, like lavender, and we've got our Melaleuca and our On Guard and all that kind of stuff. And some guys like those, and other guys are like, give me something a little bit more exciting. So we're going to talk about pain, stress, sleep, mood, motivation. I'm going to share with you a couple of recipes, which if you've been kind of watching in the group, I've already done some of that for you. So I wouldn't have to do it later. And then I just shared a file on beard care for men, or I should say facial hair. So we're not going to talk about that because there's too many ins and outs, but I will give you guys a couple of tips just based on some of the points that I made.
Way more complicated than it lets on. It's a complicated thing on our face.
Yes, it is. So I guess it's like for us girls, we've got our hair. And then I asked my husband, what are things that are important to guys? And he really just kind of like shared with me a couple of things. So it's kind of funny, the side that the woman came up with is way more long, and the side that you came up with is like short and sweet.
Right.
So typical, men, women, how we are. So he actually gave me 3 things that were important to them, and it was energy, confidence, and
virility.
So what is that? That's basically what makes a man a man.
Yep.
What makes him make better decisions? What makes him confident? What makes him honorable? Like those types of things.
Very close to vitality.
Yeah, vitality and even, what's the P word? Prowl? I can't think of the word.
I have no idea where you're going.
Okay, never mind. Cross that out of your memory. Okay.
I thought you said prowl. I was like, well, that's part of it, I guess. But yeah.
It ends in nest.
I can't
think of it. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Potency, are you? Or
no, not potency, but that's actually another word for it.
I think I know where you're going. It'll pop out.
Yeah, maybe I need some frankincense or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about those today.
Prowess.
There we go.
Yes, okay.
I was like, I can't pronounce it.
There.
Okay.
I knew that was what it was going to be.
So, anyway, we'll talk about those things tonight, and I'm going to share with you a couple of blends, which I've already posted to the group, so you guys have them, but we're kind of going to break them down and talk about what's in them. So, first, let's talk about Ooh, let me share a story about you.
Oh boy.
First of all, do you remember when I started this business and we started using essential oils? What did you think?
Very skeptical at first about the whole thing. To be honest with you, it sounded very. I'm a little bit natural, but that was like, wow, this is like way out there. And the way that it looked was, and something I said before is that it looked like it was spa supplies.
Spa supplies. So very girly.
Yeah. Spa supplies, like something you use to pamper yourself with, that it wasn't actually, something that would be necessary.
So do guys not like to be pampered?
To be honest with you, and I don't know how loaded your question is, but as far as pampering goes, anything that makes us, there's two things when guys want to be pampered. They don't want to necessarily feel cozy, but they want to feel effective.
Okay.
That's kind of what we want as far as when a guy talks about being pampered. It's literally not something that makes us feel comfortable, but something that makes us feel, like I said, effective.
See, for girls, pampered means relaxed.
Yeah.
We feel beautiful. We feel like clean. Like that's another one.
I mean, there is that aspect to it, but we also want to feel accomplished. Mm-hmm. And we want something. We don't. I'm speaking for all men here as a representative, but for me, I don't relax until I feel like I've done what I need to do.
Oh, see, that's really interesting. So that's some very cool insight to us women. So I'm kind of glad that that goes along with some of the blends that I made.
Right.
So I made some blends. Cole's never smelled them, but they contain oils that he really likes.
All right.
So, and I had to kind of hunt some down, and they cover kind of like a broad spectrum of things that guys typically deal with. And so I'll break down kind of on the emotional level what they had, but you guys will notice a common denominator in all of the blends that I put together. So we're going to talk about the blends at the end, but first let's talk about some of the topics that I wrote down. First, let's talk about pain. So when something hurts on you, what is it usually from?
Usually soreness or exertion of some type. Something that I might be lacking if I didn't drink enough water or something like that. But
okay.
But I deal with from the Army. I deal with a lot of knee and hip pain.
Okay,
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. So we got guys that work out, and so I'm going to tell a story about you.
Sure.
I remember when I started selling doTERRA essential oils. He really wouldn't use them, and he came home from the gym. Mm-hmm. And do you remember this story at all? Does it ring a bell?
There's many of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had a muscle cramp in the back of his leg, and if you've met my husband, he's got these giant calf muscles. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine when you strain them, it's really uncomfortable. Yeah. And you were hurting pretty mm-hmm. badly, and I was like, "Here, put this on." Do you remember what oil I gave you?
It wasn't Deep Blue.
No, it wasn't Deep Blue.
Yeah, I thought it was. Wasn't it an orange of some type? Mm-mm. For a Charlie horse or something like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it was past tense, which
That's
past
right.
tense is what we use for muscle spasm. I've used past tense in times when I've like tweaked my neck or something like that, and it's kind of like when I haven't exercised for a while, and then I turn my body wrong, and I'm like regretting it. So past tense is actually what I rolled on, or that he rolled on, and he put a lot on because he didn't know proper usage yet. And we have the traditional mindset where if we think we need to use more of it when we really don't. So he put a lot on, so it worked really well. Mm-hmm. And later on, he came to me, and do you remember what you said?
Nope.
Okay. So I remember all this stuff.
Yeah, I barely remember what I had for breakfast.
So I did not say I told you so, but it did work really well. And he said, I think I'm going to start using these things. Mm-hmm. And I said, honey, you've been using them for 3 months.
That's right, yeah.
Because when he sleeps at night, his feet stick out from the blanket, and I've been rolling oils on him that whole time. So he was getting frankincense, and you were getting orange,
that's right.
like every day. And since I'm going to tell him he snores, so I was using Breathe on him. And there would be times at night when you'd be snoring, I'd take a little Breathe on my finger and just kind of go like that under your nose.
That's right.
And then you would like turn when you're sleeping. So anyways, that's kind of what I would do. And so he had been using the oils for a while, and then he started transitioning using the oils in ministry, which we're not going to get into, and that's when he learned more about the benefits that way. So okay, so for pain, guys really like past tense. This is great for tension pain and Charlie horses, muscle cramps. It smells really good. It kind of, it's got that wintergreen in it, and so it's not fruity and floral. So guys really like that.
One of the predominant smells is sandalwood, correct?
Yes, so sandalwood.
I like that one a lot.
And then deep blue is the oil that you use for soothing. So if a guy's been working out at the gym, or if you have a job where you do a lot of heavy lifting or just walking around, for example, you can put it anywhere on the body that you have pain that is inflammation based and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, we have a dog that's barking.
You're supposed to be up in the room.
Okay, so those are the oils that we would want to use for pain, and that's really across the board pain, not just for guys. Okay, so the next topic is stress. So guys have stress just like us girls, but what triggers their stress is actually very different than what triggers ours, because we get, we're stressed because of a lot of times anxiety or just dealing with the kids and feeling ineffective, which I guess guys deal with that too. But guys sometimes deal with what's called performance stress.
Yep.
And so there's an oil that honestly, as we go along, you guys are going to see there's a theme. Guys should be using this oil, and that's bergamot, which is going to be for performance stress specifically. And you remember that shirt I got you?
Yeah, I do.
The Grumpy Hubby?
Yeah.
Yeah, so bergamot and orange is in there.
That's a good one.
For your moody men, you can use bergamot and orange.
It smells like a spicy citrus.
Yeah, well, and bergamot is not a citrus that you eat.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like what's the citrus that...
the hedge apples?
No, for Passover.
Oh, the etrog.
Etrog, it's like that.
Okay.
So, but you don't eat it.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could zest it, but...
Yeah,
so bergamot is really good for performance stress, but other oils for stress would be like lavender, and I don't know, do guys like lavender?
I like it mixed with something else.
Here, well, let's do this. Let's do a little experiment. Let's put a drop of lavender in your hand.
You know what, though? Lavender barely smells like a flower to me.
That's because it's a mint.
That's right. Yeah, so it's more of a spice then, huh?
It is. It's a little spicy. Okay, that's bergamot. So why don't you rub your hands together and see what you think there?
I can't tell if my... Yeah, I like that.
Let me see.
Yeah.
And you know what, guys? This would be a great blend for nighttime for sleeping, because bergamot is a natural sedative, and we know lavender is good for sleep, so it's going to be good for everybody in the bedroom. Okay, so that would be a good one. And then this is one that I think you like because it doesn't smell manly, but it's kind of a romantic feminine oil. And while guys don't want to necessarily smell like that, guys still like pretty things. I mean, that's what we're in their life for. And so neroli is really good
I don't know if I've
for
ever
stress.
I've never even heard of this one. I can't smell anything but bergamot and lavender.
Roll it on your hand with them.
All right.
And then rub your hands together, and you can have all of them together.
I don't smell any difference. No, there it is. No, that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that perfumey. It's a natural.
It's a flower, and it smells like an actual flower outside. That would be like you would smell outside. Okay, so another blend that I often recommend for everybody is Balance. And Balance is just a really good oil for that stress, overwhelm, anxiety stuff. So, like, I mean, you've been in positions where something's not going wrong, and I've watched you kind of lose your ability to, like, make really good decisions. My favorite Balance story is actually, I was getting ready. I was super excited the night before I was going to go hunting, and I couldn't get to sleep because I was so keyed up about it. And she recommended Balance, and I remember I fell asleep very quickly when I put that right over my heart. And that was a good spot to put it. Yeah, it was that type of thing. So yeah. And then the last one is Intune, and that's going to be for like stress, just in general, because it's a really calming oil because it's sandalwood in it. But Intune is also a focus blend. So if you've got your guy is gonna, he's working on a project for work, or he needs to focus or present something because you're a public speaker. Yeah. And so Intune could be helpful for when you have a presentation or something like that, or a deadline for a task or a project. Okay, so let's move on to sleep. So we did talk about bergamot and lavender, but I actually shared a blend with you all called Liquid Sleep, which is good for everybody. But this one specifically they really like because it has vetiver in it and lavender and let's see, I put it up there and now I can't remember all the oils that were in it, but you guys can see that one. And so you can actually make a roller bottle of it, and I'm just making sure, okay, I didn't make one of those. You can make a roller bottle of it and put it like on the wrists, or you can put it on the bottoms of the feet or neck, or you can do 1 drop each in a diffuser and, you know, sleep really well with that one. Okay, so the next one that we need to talk about is mood. So talk to me about guy moods. So for women, we get really irritable and kind of like, I don't know, our irritability is just very different. So what are some moods that guys typically deal with?
I definitely, short of patience is a big one. You become very impatient with things. For me, when I know that I'm running out of gas on my day, if I'm running out of my graciousness toward other people, I get very short, get very curt, you know, that kind of thing. But the moody one is frustrated a lot. And sometimes, I mean, at the extreme, it's kind of like the defeated feeling, like, or overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is a big one for me. So something along those lines.
Okay. Very good. So let me see here. I have this one right here. You mentioned frustration. And so anger and frustration kind of fall in the same category. And so this blend right here that I made, it include, actually, I'm not going to tell you yet.
I can see the label, though.
But you can't.
Okay.
You can't see the label.
All right.
So I'm going to actually roll this on me because you've already got a lot of oil on you.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah?
Okay. It's a light smell.
Okay,
bad.
yeah, so it has sandalwood in it, and what you're smelling that's light is actually elevation.
That makes sense. Yeah,
and then frankincense, and it's got vetiver and myrrh in it, so it's actually going to help hold into the skin a little bit longer because those are really heavy note essential oils. And then lime, which is kind of like you use lime.
I use lime a lot.
What do you use it for?
I use it, it's a mood improver, big time. I would say even better than the orange or the lemons or any of the other citruses.
It is.
That's one I really, really like.
And not to go dark on you, but lime is actually the oil that you would use in situations where someone has like end of life thoughts, like that kind of stuff. And so it's gonna make the most impact on that low, depressed feeling when someone needs to be lifted up from a very low place, which, I mean, that's not the norm for people, but just having a hint of it in here,
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if you don't give them the idea that that's what you're using it for, or something like that. Just how much that actually is effective.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what that blend is. So for anger and frustration, I did share that recipe for you already, and then you had mentioned, or did I talk about motivation specifically?
You talked about motivation, but it's kind of in that same wheelhouse.
This is easy, guys. It's the blend Motivate. And I remember back when you had your head shaved off, you used to put Motivate on the top of your head.
On the top of my head, yeah.
And it's got some peppermint in it, so it is cooling. So it's great for guys who are outside working in the heat even. If you're sweating, it actually will be a little stronger, so don't put it on sweaty skin. But, you know, if you're trying to get motivated to go to the gym and work out, I mean, do you guys struggle with that, or is that just us girls?
No, that's everybody.
Okay.
I think that's everybody.
So, yeah, motivate you to do the things that you need to do. So why don't you describe the smell there?
That one is definitely peppermint heavy because it's very vaporous. You smell the citrus in it, too, so it's almost orange. It's got another element in it, but it's that orange and peppermint smell. That's really, really good. And there's something earthy in it or spicy in it. I don't know what that is, but I really like that one. I remember I would put that one on and it would be a bracing thing, like especially like you said, if it was on my head and I was sweaty or something like that, it would like...
It's the basil and rosemary.
There it is, yep.
Which, those are both really good for mental clarity.
Yeah.
So that's the Motivate oil. So... let's talk about energy, because that was something that you had mentioned to me before. And we all know peppermint's really good for energy. So we're about ready to smell one of Cole's favorite essential oils. Do you know which one?
Probably, it's got to be a tree. So
it's got to be a tree.
Yeah, it could be one of my favorites is cypress.
Oh, cypress? Sorry.
Oh well.
Cypress is
We didn't
good.
win. We didn't win the newlywed game.
Yeah. Cypress is in the suggestions for oils that I posted for erectile dysfunction, which we're not really going to talk about right now. But there is, some people that deal with that, and so there is some recipes there for
Just saying.
TMI, hun. TMI. Okay. So actually, what I was guessing was one of your favorite oils was
that'll work.
Siberian fir.
Yeah, that'll work.
So for energy, guys can use peppermint. They could use eucalyptus. Have you smelled eucalyptus by itself?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. And then Siberian fir, which I know you really love.
I love that one.
And it was one of the oils they did for BOGO Week. So
Yeah.
we did a video, and Cole was smelling it, and you just really love that one.
That one, I'm right in the woods on that one.
I diffused that on Sunday for a blend called Winter Wonderland.
That's right.
Were you home for that, or I think you came home later?
Came home later, but
Yeah. So it just kind of reminded me of being outside in the woods, and so
yeah.
he really likes
Well,
Siberian fir.
I grew up in South Carolina, and we had the loblolly pine, so that always takes me back home a little bit. That pine smell.
Yeah, so we got muscle memory there.
Yep.
Okay, so those are kind of the oils for things that guys typically deal with. And I have to tell you, if you're trying to impress your man and you're wanting to give him an essential oil, focus on some of these oils that we've talked about. Honestly, I feel like Siberian fir is one of the best. It's great for pain. It's great for energy. It's great for emotional health. But for now, I kind of want to share with you some of the others. So you don't really deal with aggression.
Not anymore. I think I've evened out a little bit.
Yeah. And by the way, the anger frustration blend that I shared, that can be used for teenagers, or, if you've got kids that are a little bit more angry. And then this one here is for aggression. And I don't know if you can guess it, but the top oil is bergamot again. And then we've got sandalwood, and we have lang lang, and we have lemon and Siberian fir.
Ooh,
so
this ought to be good.
here, let's put this one on your arm.
Yeah, put it right there.
There you go.
Now that I would wear every day.
And you don't deal with aggression, but oh my gosh.
I was going to say, does this promote aggression or take it away?
No, take it away.
No, I would wear that every day.
You know what? This, I think, makes it is the lang lang.
Probably so, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you don't know
it ties it all together.
Lang lang is an oil that kind of gets you in the mood.
Yep.
So it's great to use after the kids are in bed. So you can use that blend, which I shared you the recipe. And then the last blend I want to share is what I like to call the gentleman's blend.
Ooh.
I think every man wants to be a gentleman, and I think every woman wants to be married to a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And so this blend is really good for this. This is a good everyday cologne. And so I'm going to break it down. What's actually in this essential oil blend is pretty amazing. So again, number one oil is bergamot. So you see the theme here?
Mm-hmm.
And bergamot is good for self-acceptance and confidence.
Ooh, I like it. Give it.
Oh,
give it,
okay.
Give me. No, I'm
So
just kidding.
put it on that arm.
Yep.
Well, this is yours. I made it for you.
Oh.
That's your gift, honey. Okay.
Oh, it was my birthday Sunday.
So cardamom is in there, and that's good for self-control and patience.
Yep.
And then cedar wood is for belonging and feeling sociable. So our guys don't isolate or feel
like
rejected, which
So,
is a common thing for guys. And then patchouli is for body confidence and body acceptance.
We don't struggle with that. Yes, we do. So, yep.
So yeah, is that your new favorite?
No, that's up there with
Let me smell it.
the men's blend from this last year for Father's Day.
Yeah, that
I
is
still
good.
use that one every day.
Yeah.
Down to about here. So I'm grateful for another replacement.
Yeah.
When that does run out.
So awesome.
Hey, doTERRA, make some more of that. I'll buy it.
He's talking about the Amavi.
Yeah.
And when that came out, I bought like a bunch of them. So we're pretty good for
all
probably
right. Okay,
another
good.
year.
Good.
Maybe another year.
Okay.
Okay, so those are essential oils for men. Don't forget I put some stuff in the files for you. I put a file for facial care. And I just want to just touch on that really quickly. So, number one thing that you need to know for our guys, if they want to have that amazing beard and facial hair and even the hair on top of their head, is proper nutrition. It really starts with that. And so doTERRA has lifelong vitality. I mean, just for me, I've noticed a huge difference in the texture of my hair, the curls, my skin condition. I actually look like I'm more awake, even though maybe I've only had 4 hours of sleep. But I also feel awake, and it does the same thing for guys. I mean, it's great for skin.
Yep.
And then, you know, they'll just feel better about themselves too. So all the stuff that guys care about, Lifelong Vitality does address. And then, of course, in the files I shared other tips for making a beard balm, making a beard oil. That includes a lot of the oils that we talked about, plus some extras. So some of those recipes are kind of complicated. So that's why I didn't want to talk about them on the video and take up too much time. So this is just kind of our rundown of what guys care about when it comes to essential oils. If your guy listens to this and he has some feedback for us, or maybe some other things that we didn't mention that he actually cares about, just comment below or send me a private message, and we'll be glad to kind of, you know, help him find some oils that he loves. I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve, and of course I do have somebody to ask on, you know what do guys think. I'm actually thinking in January or February I'll actually do a men's health talk with you, so we'll get into other things that have to do with men, like heart health and cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably have you help me.
Adrenal fatigue would be a big one for that.
Adrenal
probably.
fatigue?
Yeah.
Well, you know, which one had, let's see, oh, the past tense has rosemary and basil in it, which is actually really good for that.
Fantastic. See?
So, there you go.
He's the guru.
All right, guys, have a great night, and I will see you all next week.